episode of Beyond the Horizon. Thank you for tuning in today because today is a special day. We have the former Miss MSA and the current president of the IIE-MSA SRC, Raissa Makaba. How are you, Raissa?
Hey girl!
Hey girl!
Happy New Year!
You too, girl! Happy New Year 2021. Good vibes only.
Good vibes only, success.
That's right.
Everything nice. But thanks for having me.
No
I'm
problem.
so excited to be here.
Thank you for coming here today. The first question I'm going to ask you is, what was your reason for running for the IIE-MSA president?
I think my driving force for entering was just that I've decided not to place limitations on my own life. I think we live in a society where you can't do something because you're a woman, or you can't do something because you're black, or you're white, or you're a guy, you know? And the moment that you let all that noise cloud you and stop you from doing what you want to do, you're never going to move forward. So I decided to run because I decided I'm not going to put limitations on my own life. I'm in charge of what I do and what I don't do. Yeah, that's why I'm here.
That's everything. And I remember during the the manifesto speeches, you're one of the first female presidents of the IIE-MSA.
I'm the first female president in 4 years.
And that's everything.
That's
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thanks,
girl.
girl.
Yes, honey. And the second question I want to ask is, what, from your experience, in your opinion, makes a great leader?
I think from my own experience, right? Yeah. It takes you so long to develop confidence in yourself, right? And I myself can sit here and say that I'm fully confident in myself and my abilities. Taking that confidence, you're able to have the confidence that you can lead a group of people in the right direction. And in the same breath, you encourage them to have confidence in themselves, and through that know that they can do anything. So I think just having confidence in yourself and your abilities, it reflects in everything that you do.
Yeah. You know, and I 100% agree, because confidence, not only does it drive you, but it drives the people that you're following as well.
Yeah, that's really
exactly. That's 100% true. And then we know that there are different types of leadership as well. Like we have servant leadership, we have authoritative leadership. What do you think is your leadership style?
I think for me, you need to know when to be democratic and you need to know when to be authoritative. I think you need to think about how you would want to be led if you had a leader, you know, but then also knowing when to say, no, I kind of need to make a decision that's good for everyone. So I think you adapt to, you know, different leadership styles in different situations.
Because I'm pretty sure you come across very different situations where everybody's like, yeah, no, this is the one. But you like, guys, if you think about it logically and physically, and you actually think about it, this is how it is. And I'm pretty sure, don't you face any pressures like, oh my gosh, am I not being a bully? Am I not being like this? Don't you ever?
I mean, of course you're going to face pressure because your decisions that you make are never going to be okay for everyone. But it's about making decisions without making people feel like you've disregarded their opinion completely. Creating that space where people can share their ideas, but also knowing that you're the leader. So you need to make a decision that's going to be best for everyone. So making people feel included. Yeah.
That makes complete sense. Yeah. So the next question I'm going to ask you is, we know that in teams there are different approaches to determining certain decisions. So we have an approach where there is the solo leader, where it's like, this is what I'm saying, this is what it is, and where there is a team involved as well. How do you determine what approach you use in each situation?
Okay. I think as a person, there's no way you can know everything. So in every decision, you're going to need to take on other people's opinions. But I think it goes back to what I said before. Having confidence in yourself and knowing that the decision that you end up making is going to be one that benefits the whole team, and also making people feel like they're involved in the decision. So essentially, every situation that you find yourself in as a leader, it's an individual decision. Because you take on the opinions that the team has, but then it's up to you to then say, yes, we're going with this, or no, we're going with that. So I think different situations are different. Sometimes you need people's opinions, and in others you just need to have confidence that you've made the correct decision for, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then in situations where the team is like it's in 99% and you're that 1% that's like, no, you don't feel any pressure, you don't feel any disencouragement or self-doubt or anything?
I mean, of course you're gonna feel self-doubt if everybody is on the same page and you're the only one that's not. Then you need to take a step back and recognize why are they saying this. Because like I said before, you can't know everything. If 99% of the people are saying this and you're the only one saying that, it's either they're correct in something that they're saying or you're correct in what you're saying. So it's about stepping back, recognizing your weaknesses and being like, actually, maybe they're right, or letting them know that actually this is where I'm coming from. So I don't think it's a self-doubt thing. It's just about recognizing that you're not going to know everything all the time and being okay with that.
Makes sense. That makes complete sense. And then with the team that you're in now, would you say that it's a pre-existing team, like the team was formed before you came in, or it's a self-composed team?
It's definitely a self-chosen team, because all of us chose to be in this position. There was no one that I found there. So I think it's definitely a self-chosen.
And then how do you find yourself managing with that team? Like, how are you processing it well? Are you finding it comfortable, or how's it going?
I mean, when it's a self-chosen team, right? You all chose to be in a certain position. And so it's not like you pick and chose who you wanted in a position, or it's not like people were there already. So it's just about getting comfortable with everybody, recognizing the type of people that you're dealing with, and just moving accordingly.
Accordingly, right? That's very true. And then thank you for answering the question. Now the next question is, how would you measure your success as a leader?
Me personally, I measure success by how happy your team is. Are you running a team that's happy to be there, that's working collectively and making those decisions? Because it's as easy as I make a decision and it's a successful event or successful year or whatever. But how happy is the team that's behind, you know, what you're doing?
That's very true.
I think that's how, for me, success is definitely like how happy the team that I'm running is.
And that's very true. And I think that's an important aspect actually, because we see a lot of, even in economics, political parties, we can see that, okay, cool, the economy is doing great, the economics is doing great, everything is flourishing, but the team members are like trembling, they're doing the worst, and they hate you as a leader, you know what I mean? But the point where the leader is successful and compatible with their team members, everything goes on as a whole full circle. And I love that. And now, as a leader, do you think that you could still be a leader despite a questionable past or a dodgy past or anything?
I mean, you can be a terrible leader and have a great past, or you can be an amazing leader and have a questionable past. I don't think people should be judged based on what they've done before. Judge me on the leader that I am now. How am I as a leader right now? Am I leading properly? Do I have a good team behind me? I don't think my past can define whether I'm a good leader or not.
Very true. So then in looking at leaders, you wouldn't even consider the past. You think about what they're saying right now, what they're doing right now. The past has no influence on their future.
I mean, if you do have a questionable past, it's always going to be there. We can acknowledge that it's there. But what are you doing now? What does that have to do with what I did before?
Very true.
If I'm running a successful team now and I'm doing great, for example, if I'm in economics and the economy is doing great, are you then going to be like, they're doing great, but her past is horrible?
That's very true.
You know,
that's kind of like blocking your own blessings. Things could be greater, but you're looking at their past.
Measure me on what I'm doing now, the kind of leader I am now.
That's very true, because people change every moment.
Exactly.
Like, you can have a past, but right now I'm a different person, and it takes up to you who you want to be, and you just take it from there.
Exactly.
I completely agree. And then another question I want to ask you is, who are your two biggest role models, leaders that are your role models?
I think two of my really big leadership models. Firstly, Nomzamo Mbata. Obsessed. And secondly, let's take it back. Let's bring it a bit closer to home. A lecturer that I had. Her name was Zanele Maduna.
Alright.
She lectured accounting.
That's very interesting.
Why? My why is because Nomzamo has definitely broken the mold of you're stuck where you come from. She's definitely broken into international barriers, and we shouldn't limit ourselves, like I said in the beginning. It's up to you to decide what you want to do, and you shouldn't let society limit you. And she's the epitome of that. Like, she's broken into such international barriers where that's not the traditional, you know, if you're from Zimbabwe, stay in Zimbabwe. If you're from South Africa, it's like grow there. Why does it have to be limited to just that?
It's not about that
it's
anymore.
It's not about that anymore. And I think the second one, Zanele Majina. Such a boss. Such a boss. She was my lecturer and she left Monash, and now she's actually running like a program on how to help accounting students get into CTAs. She does talks on her Instagram Live. She's booming on LinkedIn. She's booming on YouTube. Really? I think she's just definitely a role model in that you aren't also limited to one thing. Just because I'm a lecturer doesn't mean that I'm just a lecturer.
Exactly.
There's so much more that I have to give.
Going on.
And she's also not selfish with the knowledge that she has. She uses the experiences that she has been through to help other people for free.
For free, dude. Free. And that's everything. That almost ties into the history has nothing to do with where you're going.
Exactly.
Because no matter what you do, whether you're a lecturer, a ton of people will look down on you and be like, dude, you're just a lecturer, dude. Let's keep it going. You know what I mean? But your role models have proven to be like, dude, where I come from is making up to where I'm going. You know what I mean? And I love that. That's inspirational. Very inspirational. So you've taken up the characteristics, roles, the lessons that you've learned, and you've put it into where you are as a person right now.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely defines the kind of leader that I've chosen to be, the kind of person I've chosen to be. Because it falls into everything that I've said before. Having confidence in yourself. It takes confidence to break those barriers and break those glass ceilings that are put there in society. So I think I've definitely taken on all these things and I'm applying them to my own life.
And I love that. And confidence is such an important thing to have because most of the obstacles that we have in front of us are just in our minds. Like it's all imaginary. The moment you have confidence and tackle everything, everybody will see that in you as a person and be like, you know what? Confidence can actually move you forward, can take you to places you've never been before, you know what I mean? And I love that. You're exuding that and it's everything. It's lovely to see. So I have known personally that there's IQ, which is like intelligence level, just the intelligence level, and there's EQ, where it's like the emotional intelligence level. What would you take in being a leader? Which would you choose between?
I think definitely EQ. There's a certain power that comes from understanding your own emotions and knowing how to control them and identifying the emotions that other people have and knowing how to manage those. Because if you're so emotional in the decisions that you're making, there's no way you're going to move forward. Sometimes you need to take the emotions out of certain decisions, emotions out of certain circumstances. So just look at, okay, this is the problem that we have. How can we tackle it? The moment people start putting in their own emotions, it's disaster. Disaster. So there's a certain power in understanding people's emotions that you're working with, because then you know how to handle different people. So I definitely go for EQ over IQ any day.
It seems like you're in almost like between IQ and EQ, because it seems like you're taking people's emotions into consideration, but you're using your IQ to make logical decisions based on the people's emotions. Exactly. So then you've basically picked a middle point, which is basically accommodative of everyone.
It goes back to what I said before. Knowing when to be what kind of leader.
That makes sense. And then also I wanted to ask, among this COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of our students have been between online learning versus face-to-face learning, but majority are online. Do you think it is easier doing online, being a leader for the online learning or the physical learning?
I think being a leader for the physical learning is way easier than the online platform. I think when we're online, we're separated by a barrier. There's no way for you to know my proper intentions. There's no way for you to know the kind of leader I am. It's more of a thing of you're a person that's empowered, do what I need you to do, and let's leave it there. Whereas when it's a physical community, they get to know you for who you are and they get to see that, you know, your intention is just to be a good leader for them.
Very true.
And I think it's definitely 100% easier leading a physical community than online.
And I totally agree, because once you're physical, you get to see emotions, you get to see the physical aspects of everything that you're doing, you get to see things done face to face, and you get a better understanding of who your leader is, how you can contact the leader, how you can, everything in all that aspect.
100%. And also when you consider the certain things that we're dealing with, not just me as the president, but my entire team, when a person comes to you with an issue and they fight you with it, when it's online, you take it as they're fighting me with it. But when it's physical, you get to understand. Possibly they might even open up about why they're fighting for that thing. Like I said, online, gives a barrier where you're the leader, I'm the subordinate, or I'm below you, do what I need you to do. Whereas when it's physical, you get to understand the people that you're also leading. You know, you get to mingle, figure out, you know, who's who, what's what.
Very true.
Yeah, you don't get that privilege when it's online.
That's very true. Yeah. I agree completely. Because I know that I'm personally a person that prefers kind of like physical, face-to-face type of things. So like as soon as a phone call comes through, I'm like, oh my gosh, tits. But as in like, it's when it's face-to-face, I'm like, okay, I can see your facial expressions, I can understand what you're saying. It's face-to-face. You know, there's no barrier, as you're saying, that there is during online learning. That's very true. I agree.
Especially even going back to what we were speaking about just now, EQ and IQ.
Exactly.
An online platform doesn't allow you
for EQ.
It doesn't allow for EQ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't understand the emotions of a person that's behind a screen. Whereas when you're with someone, you can feel. You know what I mean?
You can genuinely feel it. You can see it. Exactly. That's very true. So, as a leader, I'm pretty sure every single person on this earth, under the sun, has weaknesses. How do you as a leader handle your weaknesses, tackle them, and control them?
I think I don't understand the connotation of weaknesses being a bad thing.
Okay.
You're not going to know everything all the time. So if we take it all the way back to the first point that we made, confidence. This is where confidence comes in. The moment that you're confident in yourself, you're able to say, I don't know what to do in this situation because it's one of my weaknesses. And that doesn't make you less of a leader. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you less confident. So it's about understanding that you're not going to know everything. Maybe there's somebody in your team, you know, that does know it. And that's why we're a team. So you should be able to feed off of other people's things when you're lacking in something. So yeah, I think just acknowledgement firstly, acknowledging that this is a weakness of mine. And understanding that you're not supposed to know everything just because you're a leader.
Very true. And I agree with that because I know that as you go about life, you discover new weaknesses that you didn't know that you had. So I think that having the confidence to have a weakness and admitting to it and allowing people to help with it as well is a very great contribution to your team as a leader and as the whole organization or team or school as a whole.
100%.
Okay, so the last question I'm going to ask you is, a lot of people are like, the main subject is lead by example. So doesn't that become tricky in respect to the way you live your life? Because then, let me rephrase it. Do you live your life in such a way that your followers can look up to? Or does it become a confusing thing of like my personal life is different from my organization of where I'm leading and stuff like that? Or is that one thing? Do you think about it? How does it work?
I think for me, it's just really important to let people understand that just because I'm a leader doesn't mean I'm not a person. You know, I think lead by example stems from if you're preaching harmony and peace and you're in chaotic environments outside of that, then that's hypocritical. But if I decide to be a leader that, you know, acknowledges the fact that I'm a person, then that's me leading by example. Because things that I do outside of that, they reflect or coincide with what I'm preaching. So I think it's about deciding what you want to be. If you want to be that leader that's like, I'm the perfect person, I'm the leader, then you need to keep that stance with you in everything that you do. So I think I've just decided myself to, I'm human. You know, first and foremost. And understand the position that I'm in, but that doesn't mean that I should limit, you know,
what you can do, your outside life and everything. And I completely agree because a lot of the time once people become leaders, I'm telling you, all the eyes are on you, on every single thing that you do. So I feel like it takes a lot of mental consideration and self-evaluation and being like, am I actually a true leader? Can I be in this position? Will I be able to upstand and handle everything that I've said that I will be able to handle? And I believe that you have believed that you are in the correct position. This is who I am and this is what I'm doing.
100%. I mean, I did choose to be in this position, right? And there's a certain understanding that comes with that, that you're not going to be able to do all the things that, you know, you used to do before. And I think certain things that you do are not only a reflection on you, but they're also a reflection on the entire team that you're now, you know? 100%. So you just need to acknowledge that fact, but also it goes back to understanding that you're only human and you're not going to get everything right all the time. And it's okay to have those slip ups and, you know,
Thank you so much, Raissa, for joining us on this episode. And thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Horizon. Raissa has given us excellent and informative tips on how to be a leader, not only for community, but as a institution as a whole. Is there anything that you'd like to say, Raissa?
Basically, I just want to say thank you so much for having me here.
It's no problem.
I had a ton of fun shedding light on the topic of leadership. Just, yeah, a huge thank you to the entire team, including those behind the scenes. Yeah. And yeah, just to end it off, subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to like and comment if you enjoyed the video.
That's right.
And turn on the notification bell.
That's right. But until then.